Hello everyone and welcome to your fourth Zbrush tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to learn about masking and the selection tool. So let's start. First thing we're going to do, we'll open the program. I'm going to do this from scratch. This tutorial will be the last one. Like the next ones I'm not going to do the whole thing from the beginning because I feel like I just want everyone to get used to the program and doing the steps as I do it, because that's like the easiest and the fastest way to start in the program itself. But then in tutorial 5 I'm just gonna jump right into it. So you're gonna have a lightbox. You close the lightbox, go document, new document, and change the range to 0. And then we go to the brush or the simple brush tool to choose our 3D, and then gear. Click and drag to get the gear, hit edit, make sure to make it polymesh 3D. Hit Ctrl D multiple times to make more active points. Go to geometry, delete lower, and now we're ready for our tutorial. Okay, now when I explained the Arabic, I used this one too in the gear, so I'm just gonna stick to it, to be honest. I was thinking maybe I'll do 2 different 3Ds, but then I was like, it's the same tutorial, there's no need. Anyways, so first thing we're gonna learn is the masking. And I'm gonna make this tutorial short and just about masking and the selection tool because one, this is a very complicated tool, and there's so many dimensions to it, and it can get a bit frustrating at the beginning because you're like, oh my god, what should I click, how can I get out of this command, stuff like that. So I feel like it'll be really good if you can master it and just have like one tutorial focused only on masking and selection, because once you get the hang of it, you can design anything you want. Basically, you can do anything. Like literally the amount of control you have over the 3D is going to be insane because you can do anything you want. The moment you realize there are sections in 3D where you can, change and control, and other sections you can just freeze and be like, don't touch this area. So, okay, so let's say you have a brush, and then if you just draw or just do anything. So I said you need a Wacom tablet because, I mean, if you do this, especially the masking, it can get a bit straining on your hand. So I would really suggest you get a tablet. But I mean, if you have a mouse, then it's fine. But it might not be very sustainable. So if you just draw with your mouse, you can see that we're just doing a normal brush. Now, if you click Control and make sure to check the commands here, because this is very important. Like this entire lesson is heavily dependent on the keys I'm gonna click, okay? So we're clicking Control. If you draw, first thing you notice that your mouse now looks like, okay, without, it's just red. Once you hit Control, it becomes yellow. There's a plus sign with a mask. If you draw anywhere, you're gonna realize now you're painting in gray, in dark gray. So let's say I'm painting here, the circle. So the moment I leave it, when I want to work on it, first thing I'm going to make my draw size bigger. Hello? Is it too small? Okay, never mind. Let's do another one. Let's do a brush with a move. So BM, and then you go move. There you go. So as you can see, when I move it, it's not touching the gray area which I masked. So as you can see, whatever I do, it's like the mask is completely frozen. So I'm doing anything I want around it, but it's not affecting the mask itself. So this is basically what the mask is. The mask is you selecting sections from your 3D that you're telling the ZBrush, don't touch this, work with everything else. And this is really what makes it very unique. So let's say, okay, so this is pretty much it. So like for now, it's just Control, and then you click anywhere you want, and it's a mask. And then if you work around it, it's just not going to touch the mask. If you want to leave the command itself, you just click Control, and then you click and drag, you have this box. Once you let go of the box, the whole thing just becomes, you know, editable again or something like that. So if you do it, so let's do it again. So Control, you draw on it. You want to get, you're done. You're like, okay, I want to leave, or like, I don't want anything to be masked anymore. Hit Control, click anywhere outside the shape, and drag. We have a rectangle, let go, and now everything is fine. Another thing with the mask, if you hit Control and you did this rectangle, if you move it over the shape, you can see that you can have it as a mask also. So if you just do the if you do the rectangle outside it, then you get, you know, the whole shape out, or like you're outside of the mask command. But if you draw the rectangle inside, then you have it as a masking tool. So there's that. The other thing you can do is, let's say you have this mask and you want this section to be unmasked. Like you want the shape within the mask itself to be unmasked. You hit Control and hit Alt at the same time. You can see that the mask, there's some, okay, I'm gonna make the mask smaller, or like the shape smaller. So Control Alt. If I'm hitting only Control, it's plus, but once I hit Alt, there's a minus. So if you know, paint on it, then it's like, whatever is white is what you can edit or work with, and whatever is gray or dark gray, it's untouchable basically. So I let go. If I use the brush, it's the move tool. You can see that I'm working with what's inside. Now, there's a way to invert this. If you just click Control and you just click outside the shape, you can see that you can invert it. So just clicking inverts it. So like, you drew the mask and you're like, oh no shit, I want the other, like the whole other shape to be masked. Just hit Control and click outside. And that's pretty much it. If you want to get rid of it, just click and drag for the rectangle, let go. Okay, another command with the masking. If you just hit Control and let's just do another mask, something like this. There's an entire menu for masking in ZBrush. So go down here, you can find it in masking, click masking, and you can see we can do the inverse here. We can sharpen the mask, we can blur it, we can grow the mask, we can shrink the mask. Yeah, that's pretty much it. What else? So these are like controls, like control commands for the masking. And down here we have, you know, a bit of advanced, like mask by region, mask by colors. I would suggest not getting into it that much now. I mean, honestly, I can't explain it now because I didn't explain it in Arabic. I feel bad. I should have said something, but like there's this mask by cavity. This is important. You know what? No, I'm not gonna explain. Anyway, so like you can mask based on a lot of things in ZBrush, but it's a bit advanced. So I'm not gonna explain this now. But I will make, you know what? I'll make another tutorial where I'm like advanced techniques in masking. So I'll be fair. Anyway, so we have this, and this is basically the mask. So if you just hit Control, okay. If you just hit Control and click away, you can mask the whole thing, like the whole shape can be masked. Hit Control and click again, then you can unmask the whole thing. So if there's nothing selected, you can actually mask the whole shape and just go, you know. So you can see I'm just hitting Control and the mouse or the pen. Okay, let's draw a mask because I will show you something else. Hit Control, let's say on this one here. What you can do with the mask actually is that you can split it into subtools. So if you go here in subtool, let's say I want these two separated shapes. So I want the masking shape, the mask to be like in a shape, and then the things that are not masked in another shape. So if you go down here, go to split, there's two options that does the exact same thing. It says split unmasked points or split mask points. If you just click any of them, you're gonna notice we have two shapes now. So we just hide it. You can see that whatever I masked is in one separate subtool, and whatever I didn't mask is in another subtool. Now the thing with ZBrush is that it doesn't show. Okay, so as you can see here, by default, ZBrush shows only one surface. Like, it doesn't show the inner surfaces of the object by default. But you can actually change that if you go down here all the way to display properties and click double. So now you have both, you know, the outside. Okay, my mask wasn't that perfect, to be honest. That's why, like, it's not good. But as you can see the other, like, the back faces of the surfaces. Let me see the other one. Subtool. Let's go here. Go down and double. Okay. So as you can see now, we can see the, you know, the inner surfaces of the mask. Okay, what else? Selection. Okay. The other thing that we can do, okay, now that I split it, I think I split it too soon. You know what? Let's get another gear for no reason. So let's get this gear. I'm gonna make Polymesh 3D, and we're just gonna do a little bit of sub D to add the active points to make it more like high def. Go down to geometry, and we need to delete the lower. Now the other tool I want to explain is the selection tool. So if you just click Ctrl Shift, you see we have a complete new tool. And even here, when you look at it, there's like a select rectangle. When we did the mask in Control, we can see that it's called a mask pen. So Control, mask, gives you a mask pen here. Control Shift, you get the select rectangle. If you just, anyway, if you just hit Control and click on it, you're gonna have an entire menu showing you other masking selections. Let's say you want a circle instead of a rectangle. Just click this. Keep holding your Control, don't let go, and then click Mask Perfect Circle. If you hit Control, click and drag, you can have a perfect circle. So this could be really useful sometimes if you have if you don't want to like paint the mask, but you want like certain shapes that are more accurate, then this would be the way to do it. So you just hit Control, click again. The default is the mask pen, so I would suggest stay here. The other ones are a bit advanced, but we're just gonna keep it as a mask pen. But just know like there's other options for your mask. If you hit Control Shift, you're gonna have the select rectangle. Now if you just, you know what, let me remove the mask. So to remove the mask, remember, hit Control, and we draw like a rectangle outside, and then we have the shape. If you click Control Shift and you click and drag. So I'm holding, look down here, I'm holding Control Shift. Oops. Control Shift, and now I'm dragging. So I have a rectangle. Now what you do, or what you will notice, is that if I just let go, everything that was inside the green box is showing, and everything that is not it completely disappeared. It's completely hidden. So it's like we're pretending it doesn't even exist. So I can work on this shape as much as I want, and it won't affect the other half at all. And as you can see, I can do this a double again. So go to display properties, double. So now I can see it. So this is a really cool option. So let's say I want to change here whatever I want. You know, work with the shape. Now, if I want to show the whole shape again, or I want to leave the selection tool, you just click Control Shift, and here you don't draw a rectangle, you just click. So just click, then you have the whole shape. So it's the opposite of the masking. When you click mask, if you want to leave it, then you have to draw a rectangle. But if you're doing the selection tool, then you have to just click outside. So Control Shift, and then you draw. Let's say I want to work with this side. That's it. All right. Another thing is that you can move this rectangle. So let's say I drew this rectangle, like, oh my god, it's the perfect size, but it's the wrong location. If you just click your spacebar, you can actually move it. So I'm clicking like 4 things at the same time. Control Shift, the mouse is moving, and spacebar. And this is how you can move the rectangle anywhere you want. So say I want it here, let go, and now we have the rectangle in the middle. So if I want to leave it, I do Control Shift and I just click. I don't make a rectangle, because let's say you make a rectangle, then you're just gonna go back to the selection tool again, and then it's just gonna show, you know, whatever is inside the green box. So Control Shift and just click. Now you have the entire shape. What else? I feel like I forgot something important. Okay, let's say you do Control Shift and what was I gonna say? Okay, so let's do like Control Shift and then you just do your rectangle. If you want to do the inverse, what you do is you hit Control Shift and you draw a rectangle outside. And now you have the inverse of it. So let's do this again. Control Shift. So the more you draw, like we're just drawing rectangles at this point. Oops, okay, too much. Let's do this again. If you want, or you're like, oh no, I wanted the other half, or like what's not inside the green box to be, you know, the one I select. Then you just hit Control Shift and draw a rectangle outside. And then you have the inverse. The one with the control, with the masking, was just a click. So let's do a mask now. Let's say I do this mask. And you want the inverse. So if you remember, you just hit Control and you click. Only clicking, you do the inverse. So as you can see, you can have like these commands inside of each other. Like you can say, select this part, mask this part, select this part, mask this part, stuff like that. So even Control Alt, you can delete. That's why I said this is a very important lesson and also a very complicated one, because to master this actually takes a bit of time and you have to like practice it a lot just to have your hand more accustomed to the selection and the masking, because once you master it, really you can do anything you want. So I want to leave the command. So as you can see, we have two things here now. We have the masking and the selection. So to get out of the masking, you just hit Control, you draw a rectangle. But to leave the selection, you have to do Control Shift and you click. Okay. So yeah, I think this is it. Selection, masking. Oh, there's another a bit complicated command, but you know, let's explain it. If I do Control Shift and I do a rectangle, you can actually, if you hit Alt, you can see that the rectangle becomes red. So if you let go, you're gonna notice you're doing exactly the opposite. So if you do Control Shift Alt, then you can actually hide parts of the shape instead of, you know, showing. So this is maybe useful if you want like sections in it. So yeah, so this is the Control Shift Alt. Let me see if I do Control Shift. All right, okay. So move it. You can also do Control Shift Alt and a space bar, but then again, this is a bit, yeah, but it works. If you do Control Shift space bar, then you can say hide everything in here in the middle, and you can move your rectangle, and there you go. But what I really wanted to explain, which is very important, yeah, I almost forgot. Thank God I didn't. Anyway, click Control Shift. If you go to select rectangle, you click it. There's something you called clip curve. This is very important actually if you want to, you know, especially for architects, I think, because this is how you, you know, have straight, perfect lines. Oops. Okay. So as you can see, especially when we have a floor in architecture, we like things flat on the ground. So this is what, like, let's say you made a very crazy design and you want something, you want it to sit on the ground with gravity and stuff. This is how you do it. You just Control Shift, make sure you have the clip curve selected. And if you can see, when I just drag, whatever is on, like the one with the gradient black gray, that's what's gonna be cut. So here, so as you can see, it cut whatever is under it. Okay, my cut wasn't perfect. Let's do it again. If you want it to be completely like the angle 0, I don't know, just make it 0. Like, don't move it too much. Okay, there you go. You can also move this, by the way, with the space bar. So Control Shift, hit space bar. You can actually move the section like higher and lower. So here. There we go. Perfect. So yeah, I feel like I've explained everything. So Control Shift, let's go back and go back to the select rectangle. This is the default. There's other things here, obviously, with the brush that you can choose. I would suggest stick to only these two because, you know, the thing is when you're a beginner, you just want to master the basics and master the very important tools, and then you start playing around with the other ones. But as long as, you know, you're good and you just mastered the skills and the commands, then you can just start exploring other, you know, buttons and options. Anyway, I hope I didn't forget anything. I'm double checking on my notes. Yeah, I think this is it. So yeah. Anyway, hope you guys, you know, learned a bit from this tutorial. Trust me, masking and selection tool, you can go really far with it. And try to just master how to inverse with the shortcuts and how to select and just switch between the brushes of the selection tool and the masking tool, and then yeah, you will really go far with that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and I'll see you in the next one.